Welcome to Model Engineers Laser. My name is Holly and this is part 19 of our jack build. Today we're going to work on the chimney, and in part 7 of the jack build in the magazine, Garden Railway magazine, it gives all the information that you need. I'll show you on here regarding the dimensions to make your own chimney. However, we are using the castings that we've got from Simon at Model Earth from here. So in the instructions it says to use a 12mm tube and to turn the end down to 10mm. But Simon's castings, which there are nothing wrong with, are closer to a more like 11.5mm. So we're using a piece of 1/2-inch tube, and we now need to adjust what we do from the drawing and turn the tube to fit the casting, because as I said, they don't quite match up to the drawing. This is the only part of the build that you're going to need a lathe for, or you're going to need to know someone who will turn it with their lathe for you, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to be asking Ed. So what needs to happen is to turn a section of this tube here to put a step in to fit into the casting. So we're going to go and do that now. We now have the castings back for the chimney from Ed when he was working on the lathe. He set the castings in the lathe and got them as true as he could. They are castings, so they aren't going to be perfect. He then used a very sharp boring tool and very gently bored out the very bottom of the base casting until it very nearly cleaned up. I mean, there's a tiny bit just in there. You can see where it stops being shiny. It's near enough. And then he carried on boring through it until, it's not going out of focus. There we go. Until it fell off. And doing the top was basically the same. If you want a polished cap on your chimney, it's easy to take advantage of it being in the lathe at this point and polishing it up while it's there. I'm going to paint mine black, purely because I think the original was black, and that's what we've decided to do, but that's completely up to you. The next step is to make the tube, and we've done the castings, and it's easier to make the tube fit the castings than it is to make the castings fit the tube. So it's the best way round to do it. So it's always easy to make the tube to fit the hole than the hole to fit the tube. So castings first and then the tube. We need to machine this so the ends of the tube and make them as really close a fit to the holes as we can in the castings. So what we're aiming is that slides in there. So we need to take a fair bit off, but you want it as really snug. As snug as you can do it. So that's the bit I'm going to pass over to Ed to do now. Here's the tube Ed's returned to me, and he has cut it down to length by just parting it off while it's in the lathe. It is slightly longer than it says in the magazine. The magazine says it should be 16mm. This is actually 20mm, very purposefully because of what we're going to do with this bit here, and I'll explain that in a moment. The article says that to tap the hole in the smoke box and then thread it into there, that's not happening. It's a curve, it's thin, you're not going to tap it properly, so that's not what we're going to do. So just to explain what has happened with this section here, that is a sliding fit onto there. Like we said, that's slightly longer, but that's okay, we'll explain that. And then the chimney top is a perfect fit, in as in it doesn't go on. So the last stage of what we're going to do is heat this up and then use that to put it on. So once it's expanded under heat, put it on, let it cool, and then it'll be solid on there. That's not going to come off. What we are going to do is turn this down so it fits the hole in the smoke box. And then once we've done that, we're going to use the next available thread on here to put it through here, and then we're going to make a nut to fit on the bottom of it through there. So essentially, I still need to file off that one rivet there. It will sit like that with a nut underneath here that we thread on. So we're going to thread this with a nut rather than direct onto the smoke box. And then once it's all together, that's the last stage of heating the cap of the chimney on top. We're back and we've had a bit of a change of plan. So as you can see, we've now cut this end down. This is the end that the collar goes on. Ed didn't put the thread on the outside because once he measured it, he realised that it would essentially be turning it into a spring. So I don't know if you can see in there, we've actually put the thread on the inside. It's an idea he's pinched off someone else, to be honest. And then he's then made a hollow bolt to go inside of it. Now, the thread on this is 3832, which is a standard ME thread. The back of the thread, I don't know if you can see, you see here that this isn't at a 90 degree, it's been cut at a 45 degree angle. That's to give it some grip on the inside of the smoke box. The other thing to note is when we've done the hollow, it's not me, it's Ed, when he's done the hollow on the inside of the bolt, he's actually put a chamfer on this as well, so when the pipes run down, tilt my camera up, when these pipes here go through on the smoke box, they're not going to have a harsh 90 degree edge to rub against and potentially cause some damage. So we've also figured out that we don't actually need to remove that last rivet. So how this goes together is that slides on there quite nicely. And then you take that, I'm only going to do it finger tight for now so you can see the principle of how it all goes together. Now you have to remember the base of the chimney is shaped, so you want to make sure that it sits fairly flat in the right place. Okay. It's going to need a bit of shaping anyway. There we go. That's only finger tight, so you get the idea of how it all goes together. It's attached through there. For our chimney. I'm going to leave it there for today, just a short video. The next video is going to be fitting the boiler, so that's going to be quite a lengthy one and not one I can really tag on to the end of here. So thank you for joining us. Enjoy the bank holiday if you're watching this bank holiday weekend that we're filming, and we'll see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe to our page and we'll see you then. Thank you. Bye.